Hello there, welcome back to Simon's Shed. It's time for another Severn Valley Railway layout update, and Severn Valley Railway is of course my N-gauge version of a small part of the Severn Valley Railway. Coming up in this episode, back scene, lighting, riverbank and hidden track problem. So yes, still making good progress. Got some more scenery to show you in terms of the riverbank and the fields sort of alongside and behind it, and quite a few other bits as well. So let's stop waffling and have a look at what I've been doing. Let's do a quick overview and a quick reminder of where we got to last time and what's still to do. So you can see that now this board in the corner, I've sliced it off level with the sky over there, and this is Arley. I'll show you a few tiny bits I've started on there just to catch up with where I am at the start, and also we've got the other board in place and sliced up as well. So apart from a few a board across here, that's all the back scenes done, at least with Sky. And yeah, I'll go into a bit more detail later on why I've cut those off, but it's all to do with accessing that track down there, because I had a lot of questions, but as I say, I'll cover that in detail later. The other thing I've been doing is a little bit more sort of hills on the back scene. I'll show you a bit more about that. And I have replaced the tarmac, but not the pavement yet. I've not. I need to do pavement all down here, but I have done a hedgerow up that side of the road, and started sort of building that up a little bit to sort of disguise the fact that the road disappears. So I'll have lots of bushes and trees on this, and we'll build it up into a bit of a hillock. But what I'm doing with this at the back is simply printing out various tree lines at different sizes, and this one went a bit wrong because the printer ran out of ink, but you get the idea. It's basically different colour grass sheets, and slice them out and just stick them to the back scene with sort of the distant trees behind, so it looks like different layers. And so far that's been pretty effective. So I'll carry that on up to the corner there for now, and it's going to get more and more foresty as we go that way. So yeah, that's where we're up to at the moment. One thing I've been wanting to improve for some time is the lighting in here. At the moment we've just literally got this one fluorescent tube, and it's not very bright. It's getting on a bit. The bulb could probably do with replacing, and also sometimes when I'm filming, that's not gonna, there we go, hopefully you can see that, we get this weird flickering strobing effect. So I had a quick search around and found these spotlights. So we've got two of these, and they're GU10 bulbs. So we'll have 12 spotlights, and we'll see what difference that makes. Not sure what bulbs to put in them yet. I've got a couple of different ones in the house to try. I think the halogen ones, I'm pretty sure they won't flicker, but they do tend to get very hot, don't they? So it's probably not a good idea. The LED ones might still flicker on the camera, but as I say, I'll try it with 1 or 2 bulbs when I've got them up and see how it goes. So I've just rigged these up temporary to test they work, and so the wiring's done. I've got one 50 watt halogen bulb in, and we're not getting any flicker off that, and it seems really bright and does seem a nice sort of sunlighty colour. And in the other one we've got an LED which again is not flickering like the fluorescent tube was, so that's very good. So yeah, I think that's a 6 watt LED. The colour doesn't seem quite as good, but they do run a lot cooler, and with all this wood about, it's probably not a good idea to have these hot halogen, although that's not too bad at the moment. But the halogen bulbs do get a bit hot, so I'll probably end up using the LED bulbs, but I'll have a shop around, and now need to buy 12 bulbs. Let's just do a quick test with the blind down. Here we go. As you can see, just with the 2 bulbs, you can clearly see where the lighting gets to. But that's just with 2 bulbs, looking pretty good on the camera and to my eye as well. So yeah, pleased with that. I've sort of been meaning to do that for a while, although it does lead me to one more question. If I put, I'm going to fix this one somewhere towards this end, and we've got the floating layout, Boddenham Woods, sort of winched up to the roof, so that will be blocking out most of the light from that. But that might be a question for another video, i.e. what do we do with Boddenham Woods now? Is it time to let it go, get rid of it, give it away, sell it? Yeah, as I say, probably a discussion for another video, but I think we need to sort that out pretty soon. I think it's time to do the other riverbank. So last update was mostly about this side, and yeah, now it's time to get a riverbank up here. It's going to come up and sort of form a valley, so there'll be a sort of hill there, and it'll flatten off. The rest of it's pretty flat. All I've done so far is just put these in really, and this just to sort of rest the shaper sheet on while I'm forming it, because it keeps sort of moving about, and it just needs a bit of support while it's not got any plaster on it. Once it has got plaster on it, it's rock hard. So yeah, it's just to get it into the right shape and make it a bit easier to form. So let's see how we get on with that. that's another burst of scenic floor down, if you like. Pleased with that. Another big area covered. I'll give you an update on that and the other bits over at Arley in a moment, but we need to talk about covered track, hidden track. I got a load of questions after the last update about noticing that I'd obviously covered up the track under here, and what happens if a train gets derailed and so on. So let's go through that. First of all, let's get an idea of the scale of the issue. Essentially, we've got 3 loops. First loop is not a problem. It is the Severn Valley line, which is what the Ginty is running on now, and that either goes end to end, starting at the station that will be there, or as you can see, I've got a sneaky little siding if I want to just run the trains in a loop and watch them go by. So that's all on the top level, the scenic level. No covered track, and obviously it'll go through Arley and back round again. So loop 1, fine, no problems. Loop 2, let's say, is the outside track here. That's going to be the London Midland line, and it will have trains, so there'll be scenery from here, sort of Kidderminster station, and obviously we're all on the top level, so we're fine. And then we get to here, so it'll be on the outside track there, and it'll disappear. But actually it's not a problem, because now that I've cut down the backboards, you can quite easily see it's very easy to reach the track down there. It's actually not that far down. So yeah, on the outside line the train goes along this back track down here, and yes, it does disappear under here, and it's one straight level piece of track underneath to there. So as it's a straight level piece of track, I've not had any derailments or anything, and since I've been using the track cleaner, I've not had any trains stop under there. If they do, it's not a problem anyway. I'll show you what I have to do to get access, but let's look at the final loop, the third loop, which is the sort of second track in here, which is the London Midland line going in the other direction. The trains will be driving on the left hand track, so they'll only ever be going this way, so that they have to go down the helix, because nothing's going to come up the helix with any kind of carriages or anything. So it's designed, the whole thing is designed so trains only ever go down this helix. So probably from here this will all be covered, but the point is this is all open frame layout. So if something, I mean, nothing's going to stop on the helix because gravity's just going to keep it going anyway, but worst case I have to duck under there and get my hand up there to access that. So the train comes off the helix here and it goes this way to go around the loop, or obviously this way into the fiddle yard. So what I'm thinking for here is the scenery is probably going to come out a bit further. I might then hang a curtain or a sheet down here so I can open that and I'll easily be able to get into the fiddle yard. Obviously that's quite important. So this will all be potentially open and accessible, but just covered with a sheet or a curtain or something. So yeah, as you can see, the loop track is all accessible here. There's not going to be much more scenery here, maybe a bit obviously in this gap, but I'll still be able to get my hand in here and access the track there. Same situation as before with the track behind here. It's all easily reachable, so it'll come onto this track first and disappear under there. And what it does under here, I'll switch the light on the camera on in a second, show you. I think it goes this way first, and it's rising very, very gradually. Keeps rising, loops round, and keeps rising, and comes out on this middle track here. So you can see it's still a little bit lower, but by there you can see it's got back up to full height. So that's how the trains get back up. When they've gone down the helix, they go up this gradual climb. So that's probably the worst one for covered track, is the third loop. The other two I've never had any problems with. So what I'm going to show you now is try and get down, if a train did get stuck, get down under there. I may, if I do get a lot of problems, tidy all the scrap wood up from under there. It's coming in quite handy at the moment, but I could move all that, and possibly move this shelf, which doesn't really get a great deal of use. But so far I've had 0 derailments and just a couple of trains stopping on dirty track. But since I've had the new track cleaner, I've not had to get under there at all, so it doesn't seem to be a problem at the moment. But yeah, let's take a look under there and show you. So, worst case, a train has stopped or derailed underneath the layout. We go in through here, and you can see, hopefully, that it's all open frames. So this is one of the main tracks above here, so I can easily reach up there. So that comes in at the lower level here, and you can see the track. So you can see we can get to that track there. That goes all along there. So we can get to anywhere along there. And we can get to anywhere along here. And yeah, we just have to sort of reach up and grab whatever's stopped, or give it a nudge to get it going again. But as I say, so far, fingers crossed, I've not had to do that, so I'm fine with it at the moment. So, back at Arley, a few minor little changes, mainly while I've been waiting for stuff over here to dry. I couldn't do anything, so I've got on with the sort of tarmacking down here, and I've now put the pavement in along most of it. It does need a pavement here, which sort of needs to blend in with that, so I just need to make that. But we've now got pavement reapplied to both sides of the bridge, and just tidied this up a bit, and not got very far with this, but just use a bit of no more nails, just because I had the last bit in the tube. I put some shaper sheet down to try and make a bit of a bank there, but it didn't really work, so the no more nails doesn't particularly look very good either, so I might go over that again with some plaster, to be honest. But that will be a bank with lots of bushes and trees to hide the road disappearing. And the reason I was using up the no more nails grab adhesive stuff is because I've been sticking this extra bit of board on, so that bit's got a sort of front to it now, and I've filled in the gap with the grab adhesive stuff just because it worked really well on these bits, and it hasn't cracked or anything, and it holds onto the wood nicely. So obviously I'll paint that and stick some grass on there. That's another little bit done. I'm not going to put a board on the front here just yet until I've figured out what level the water's going to be for the river, which is going to be here. And obviously you've already seen the shaper sheet with the plaster on it going in here, and the Woodland Scenics paint. To be honest, any old brown paint would have done, but I've used the Woodland Scenics Earth Colours paint before and it's pretty good. And the knock static grass on top of that. Obviously a few little, I have now run out of shaper sheet again, so a few little gaps still to do there, but I can do that with plywood or any old board. To be honest, it doesn't need to be shaper sheet just for that little bit. And of course there will be a board, sort of a front piece to hide this, and as I say, the curtain bit will probably start here, covering up the fiddle yard. So, more progress. Pleased with that. Thanks very much for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe for more updates to come. See ya.